La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Married at First Sight. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, y'all, as you can see, I don't have my normal setup, my lighting and everything. I don't have anything with me, but I wanted to get these videos out. My notes are right here to the side, so if I look to the side, I'm looking at my notes. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this video. We're going to start with Clint and Gina. Clint and Gina seemingly are doing better. Gina seemingly is putting in more effort. I'm not quite convinced, but this episode seems like a step in the right direction. We'll say that. So we finally get to see the infamous salon. It felt like product placement to me. I'm so sorry. But she introduced him to her team. One of her workers, which is coming off extremely disrespectful to me, basically saying that she assumed that he was dirty. Like, I know he made like a kind of like a dirty joke, saying he was going to use like the nozzle from the sink and wash his butt. Like, he was playing. But for her to say, and maybe she was trying to play too, but it was just coming off disrespectful. Like, this your boss's husband. Why are you calling him dirty or saying you thought he was going to be dirty? And Gina, why are you not at least immediately saying, okay, that's my husband, we ain't gonna go there, or, my husband's not dirty, something. But later on, they were giving questions basically to help them go deeper in their relationship, and that's pretty much all Cliff has been wanting to do with Gina. He wants to go deeper. He doesn't want to just talk about your business. He wants to, get to know you more as a person. So she opened up about having to go to therapy after her parents divorced, and she had to really shift her mentality. I think she could have went a little bit deeper about that. Gina just seems like the type to brush off her own feelings. So how could she deal with anyone else's feelings? Because she don't seem like she really deals with hers. I could be wrong, but she just stays on the surface level. Like, she doesn't go any deeper. Clint went really deep. Like, Clint went there. He talked about a time where he had to deal with losing a baby. So his ex got pregnant. They were not planning the baby, but he was really excited about being a present father. Just all the things that comes along with fatherhood. He was excited about that. And when they ended up losing the baby, I think it was about 2 weeks in, it really affected him. It affected him so severely that he experienced like physical manifestation of his emotions. He said he got full body rashes from dealing with that situation. You want to talk about getting deep? Like, that was pretty deep. And Gina, she was kind of like compassionate, but I feel like she could have given a little bit more in that conversation, because he really laid it all out on the table. Later on in the episode, he's also someone that loves boats. He's 8th generation sailor. Like, this is something that's like literally in his blood and ingrained in him. So this is him truly like showing her who he is in his element. He's going all out to try to win this lady over. Like, he's pulling out all the stops, and he even had her, sail the boat, showed her how to do this and that. She had a good time. She looked like she really enjoyed it. And I believe at the end of the episode, they went to the rodeo and saw bull riding. Like, they did good this episode. I just really wish Gina could actually open up and try a little bit more, because it just doesn't feel like she is. So let's move on to Nicole and Chris. So they went for massages at the beginning of this episode, and then basically she took him out on a date. And I'm just like, did she plan these activities? On their date, Nicole brought up love and, who's going to say I love you first. And deep down inside, she wants him to say it first. And Chris feels that. Like, he didn't say that to her, but he said in the confessional, he feels that Nicole wants him to say it first. And, he's not going to be pressured into it. Like, he wants to be sure before he says it. And I don't see anything wrong with that. And please do not let Nicole pressure you into saying it, because if you say it and you don't mean it, it's just going to hurt her in the long run. So later on, they have this conversation about body image issues, right? and how he has struggled with that in the past, and he just wants to make sure he looks good for her. He went and cut his hair, and she said the same thing, that she wants to look good for him, but really he just used that as a springboard to tell her that he was asked in one of his confessionals. He ended up saying that she is thicker than what he normally goes for, but nothing's wrong with that, but she's just thicker than what he normally goes for. And I don't think inherently there's anything wrong with what he said, but I just can't help but think back to when Clint was getting all that heat. And I can't look, I feel like he said that before the Clint situation, because he wouldn't have dare said it afterwards. And he had on this like tropical looking shirt, so I feel like they were on the honeymoon when he said this. They played a clip of him saying it. You saw Clint take all that heat. You saw how hard Nicole went at him for saying that. Why did you wait? Like, I appreciate him for telling her and not letting her have to see that on TV, because she, I'm sure that would hurt. But why didn't you say something before? Like, and Nicole had all this mouth for Clint and going in and how women and their bodies, and say, and it makes sense because she revealed in this episode that she has body dysmorphia. So now that makes more sense why she felt the way that she felt. But you sure went hard on Clint, and you sure taking it easy on your husband. I just had to point that out. I mean, that's your husband, you got a softer spot for him. Y'all done consummated your marriage and everything. I get it. But you went hard on Clint. So when she heard that, obviously she was shook. Even though she calls her own self thick, she never wants him to refer to her as thick. Because of her body dysmorphia, I'm guessing that's a trigger for her, and the word thick is something that she likes to use on her own self, as a way of like owning the word. But when other people say it about her, maybe she feels away. I'm just assuming that's how that goes. Like I said, I appreciate him telling her. I don't think it's something to harp on. I really hope she doesn't, but she has body dysmorphia, so I wouldn't be surprised if she does. So let's move on to Jasmine and Aris. In the beginning of the episode, we find out that Aris has C19, and he's in the bed whining and complaining about having to fend for himself, dealing with this. But then we see that Jasmine made him some soup and, basically was taking care of him. Did she have it too? Because she sure was in the same room with him. I don't know. I'm like, I hope you're not like out and about and coming in contact with him. Ain't y'all supposed to quarantine together? But anyway, he rated her caregiving skills a 7. I'm just like, why do you feel the need to give that a rating? Like, like the way he deals with her is like, why do you have to quantify everything she does for you? So childish. And like I said on my last video, his emotional intelligence is very low. Like, why don't you just be appreciative that she took care of you? He did kind of make up for it by offering to bathe the dog. This is not something he would do on his own normally, but he wanted to make up for her having to care for him by taking care of her dog. And she felt like that was a very nice gesture, but she's still gonna take the dog to the groomers because he didn't know what he was doing. And I felt like she ended up having to do half the work. Then they had the conversation about love. How many times have you been in love? He felt like she had been in love multiple times because she said she fell in love easily, but what it seems like is she falls in love and has consistent relationship with the person. You know what I'm saying? She don't just fall in love with every person she meets. He said something quite disturbing, that he almost fell in love when he was 28, and then they broke up. It hurt his feelings, and because of that, he put up his guard for the next decade. If that wasn't a big enough red flag, when they start talking about their past when it comes to intimacy, I'm gonna put that lightly. I don't want to say certain words because I don't want my video to get flagged, but basically he has had a wild past that includes being intimate with multiple people at one time. And I'm not talking about 3 people, it's more. I feel like he's trying to run her off at this point. Like, they're playing Never Have I Ever, and she hasn't done a lot of the things that he's done, or a lot of the things that he's brought up, and he was basically getting mad because she hasn't done anything salacious, and basically he sounded like a teenage boy discussing it, like, you ain't did nothing, or you ain't lived before you got married, you supposed to get all this stuff out of your system. And it's like, women cannot win, like, whether they're a virgin or whether they're promiscuous and then slept with everybody in the world, a man always gonna find a way to criticize a woman for what she has or has not done. I'm like, you mad because she ain't done nothing? Yeah, he's a walking red flag at this point. So now let's move on to Kristen and Shaq. I feel like there's another walking red flag in this relationship. Kirsten constantly has this blank expression on her face. That's something that really stuck out to me this episode. I don't know if she's putting it on or if that's really truly who she is. I've been saying the past few reviews that I feel like Kirsten is putting on this persona, like she's presenting herself in a certain way that I don't feel like is genuine. But like when she talks, she kind of like bucks her eyes open. And I'm just like, is nothing actually there, or are you trying to hide what's deep down inside? It's like, are you trying to put on this like almost like a ditzy persona? Is this a defense mechanism for whatever happened in your past? I don't know, but it I can't put my finger on it. So she's talking to her friend on the phone and saying how he has this hectic schedule. He's been hosting a lot of late night events for his students, and basically that's causing him to miss out on quality time for her at night. He gets home late, and by the time he gets home, she's asleep. And I'm like, well, why don't you attend one of the, since he's having so many, like, it would, in my mind, I'll be like, well, let me come up here, let me pop up, let me see what this is all about. I'm sure you can. It's on a college campus, so why not go see? Like, I do agree he should compromise and he should make time for his wife, but you should compromise as well. She never really tries to compromise. Like, she always says what he's doing wrong, but what are you gonna try to do? You ain't even kissed the man. Like, why would he try to rush home? You don't even get that man no kiss. So they have a conversation about love, and basically he said he didn't really understand love until he experienced it with one of his exes. And he said his mother did the best that she could to show him love, but that person that came in his life, it kind of showed him what love could mean. She's experienced love with her ex, but she said she became closed off after that last relationship. But she said in her last relationship, she constantly held back and she didn't really express herself to him. And it sounds like you were already closed off before that relationship. And then afterwards, like, it just solidified the fact that you don't want to open up. That's what it sounds like. He asked her what would make her fall in love, and she said quality time. He basically said just time, period, in general, will make them fall in love. He said that he has to keep himself happy to make her happy, like spending time with his friends and going to the gym, etc. And under normal circumstances, I'll be like, well, she should be one of those things that makes you happy. But I could see why she's not. He introduced her to his mentees. They seemed respectable enough, but I don't know, they said some things that kind of threw me off. They were nervous that she was going to be ugly. And then he immediately was like, who did your hair? And it's like, wait a minute. How long? Are you trying to shade me? Like, what? Who did my hair? Why you ask? And then one of the other ones was like, well, y'all are 30 and y'all set in y'all ways. What made y'all think y'all ready to get married? I'm just like, hold up now. Y'all doing a lot. Shaq ended up sharing that he said no to a new job opportunity in another place because he wants to be able to focus on the marriage. And this is not something that he necessarily shared with her before making that decision. But it did show her that he is serious about this relationship. But she did say that she doesn't want him to resent her in the long run. Like, she hopes he made that decision and he's okay with that decision because she doesn't want to be responsible for him missing out on that opportunity. Later on, he took her to a plant garden so they can get a plant and watch them grow together. He's very into plants. He loves to grow them. He even likes to name them. They were not on the same page at all with which plant to choose. She kept saying no to all of them. Even Shaq had his little attitude. Well, I don't like that one. But they ended up choosing one together, and then later on after that, she ended up setting a spa night for him, and you know, they both put their feet in their little foot tubs that vibrate, and they got in their robes. She didn't really do much now that I think about it. All they did was put on robes and put their feet in it. Like, she didn't massage. She didn't really do much. She didn't even give him a facial or nothing. Like, what kind of spa night is this? She claimed she liked to cater to him, child. But they ended up putting on eye mask. This was the perfect opportunity to be vulnerable, to lay your feelings out there, because they had no choice but to like listen to one another, right? Great exercise. I think this could have been great. She asked him, what's something that I don't know about you? And he said he was really insecure when he was younger because, you know, he just felt different, like he didn't fit in. He didn't play sports. He also felt insecure about going bald in his 20s. That was kind of early. And he did have a scar on his forehead. So, you know, those are some things that deep down inside he was insecure about. And, you know, she affirmed him, told him he was handsome, he was smart and all that. So that was nice. So he's sitting up there, he's opening up, he's pouring out his heart, he's, you know, being vulnerable. And basically he asked her the same question, tell me something I don't know about you. And she said, there's a million things you don't know about me. And he was like, well, share one. That's why we're here. And she was like, well, you get to know it if we talk. And he was like, basically, like, we're talking now. Like, I just opened up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just opened up. How are you not able to share one thing? You can't share one thing. I don't know. Like, she jumped right back into that ditzy role. That kind of airheaded, that wide. Like, I couldn't see her eyes, but I'm sure there was wide behind them, that eye mask. Like, right back into that role of, oh, you know, I don't know. But you can ask him and he can answer, but you can't. Like, I don't know. I didn't like that. And he was like, now I know you have your guards up, and you said you had your guards up ever since your last relationship, but your guard is tall. Okay? And he even brought up the fact, like, are you not over your last relationship? Like, have you let that go yet? Like, I can understand how frustrated this man could be, because she's not even trying at all. And it's never going to work with anybody. Like, Kirsten, I hope you know it's never going to work with anyone if you can't open up. You need to go to therapy, and you need to go figure out why you can't be honest and open and real. Because everything about you gives fake and disingenuous. It's not just Shaq that sees it. Like, the audience feels it too. So I think that's something you need to work on in the future. But that's all I have to say about this episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I'd love to hear your opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.